Peace, love, and prosperity to all of humanity. I am Abdul Smith Bey, elected chairman of the WRC and head of state of Alodia Morris Parade in Monte, Georgia, uh, corresponding with the Wazir of Unami Buffalo Nation, Mr. Brahim Ilim Pindar Bey. And as we continue, I would like to introduce all the heads of state of the WRC, beginning with Alodia Morris Parade, Monte, Colorado. You may introduce yourself.
My name is DeAndre J. Bay, Wazir Reyes for Alodia Morris Parade, Monte, Colorado.
My name is Amir Hassan El, Wazir for Alodia Morris Parade of New Mecca.
I am Akil Zafan Yazin Bey, Wazir Reyes of Meru State Republic.
I am Mia Moore Bey, Wazir Reyes for Alodia Moroccan Stadium, Ante, Michigan.
Brother Kendon.
I'm Kendon Bay, Wazir Reyes, head of state for Dia Mentes, Namur, Morocco, Free State.
Today is April 26, 2023, and I shall begin the reading of the non-recognition of Unami Buffalo Nation, Ante, Pennsylvania. Please scroll. Mr. Brahim Bey, it has come to the attention of the Wazir Regional Council member states that your group of Moors is proclaiming to be a competent government known as Unami Buffalo Nation, Ante, Pennsylvania. Unfortunately, the notion of Unami Buffalo Nation, Ante, Pennsylvania, being a competent Moroccan state government is hereby rejected by the member states of the Wazir Regional Council on the merits listed below. First, Unami Buffalo Nation, Ante, Pennsylvania has failed to reach the basic requirements of statehood, whereas some of its so-called elected officials are living outside of the borders of Unami Buffalo Nation, Ante, Pennsylvania. For example, the so-called Qazi Chief Judge, Mr. Nasir Bey, permanently lives in the colonial territory of Delaware and does not live within the dominion of Unami Buffalo Nation, Ante, Pennsylvania. Any so-called elected official living outside of a newly formed state is a violation of their constitution and contradicts the customary norms of who is eligible to become an elected official of the state. Therefore, Unami Buffalo Nation, Ante, Pennsylvania is void of a competent judicial branch authority. For this reason, Unami Buffalo Nation, Ante, Pennsylvania cannot be recognized as a competent government or state in the Empire of Morocco, and anything to the contrary is void ab initio. Secondly, appointed officials cannot live outside of Unami Buffalo Nation, Ante, Pennsylvania. For example, the so-called Hajib, Minister of Foreign Affairs, Ms. Yesherin Bey, permanently lives in the colonial territory of Delaware and does not live within the dominion of Unami Buffalo Nation, Ante, Pennsylvania. Any so-called appointed official living outside a newly formed state is a violation of their constitution and contradicts the customary norms of who is eligible to become an appointed official of the state. Therefore, Unami Buffalo Nation, Ante, Pennsylvania is void of a competent authority for the office of Hajib, Minister of Foreign Affairs. For this reason, Unami Buffalo Nation, Ante, Pennsylvania cannot be recognized as a competent government, and anything to the contrary is void ab initio. Third, the so-called elected and appointed officials of Unami Buffalo Nation, Ante, Pennsylvania, have failed to perform a public inauguration regarding the newly formed so-called state of Unami Buffalo Nation, Ante, Pennsylvania. Therefore, the so-called elected and appointed officials of Unami Buffalo Nation, Ante, Pennsylvania cannot be recognized because they have failed to publicly recognize themselves as the authorized authority of the state. For this reason, Unami Buffalo Nation, Ante, Pennsylvania cannot be recognized as a competent government or state in the Empire of Morocco, and anything to the contrary is void ab initio. Fourth, The so-called Haji Minister of Foreign Affairs, Ms. Yeshrin Bey, is in breach of your constitution regarding emoluments. The term emolument means a salary, fee, or profit from employment or office. It is important to note that elected and appointed officials of competent Moorish states are constrained from using the office for personal gain and receiving emoluments. Whereas Ms. Yeshrin Bey is currently marketing and advertising herself as a consultant, quote unquote, on her personal website known as, quote, MoorishAmericanConsulate.org, end of quote. The personal website proclaims that Ms. Yeshrin Bey is assisting Moors with Moroccan nationality, statehood, and other forms of governmental reforms. Ms. Yeshrin Bey requires 60-minute sessions, quote unquote, and an online prepayment of $70 before an appointment can be booked or confirmed for her consultation sessions. Ms. Yeshrin Bey's acts are not only a breach of her constitution, but her actions also place a bright light on her lack of morals and ethics for expecting emoluments by egregiously charging vulnerable Moors to discuss pertinent reforms relating to statehood. Also, it appears as if Ms. Yeshrin Bey is still in the mind frame of being a quote-unquote package-selling Moorish American. For this reason, Unami Buffalo Nation, Ante, Pennsylvania, and its so-called Hajib, Minister of Foreign Affairs, cannot be recognized as trusted or competent government officials of a state, and anything to the contrary is notwithstanding. Fifth, according to the most recent 41-minute video publicly displayed on Unami Buffalo Nation's Ante, Pennsylvania website, it appears as if Unami is proclaiming itself to be the competent authority to assist other non-self-governing territories that are seeking independence through the administrative process on how to achieve competent statehood status. For example, Unami Buffalo Nation, Ante, Pennsylvania, has disclosed that they are working with various Moors located in the colonial territories known as Florida, Minnesota, Ohio, etc. It is important to note that Unami is falsely acting under the guise of being a competent group of Moors that can assist other non-self-governing territories. The notion that Unami Buffalo Nation, Ante, Pennsylvania is qualified to assist non-self-governing territories is patently false, arbitrary, and capricious, whereas these misleading acts can lead to punitive damages and legal actions caused by Unami Buffalo Nation, Ante, Pennsylvania, and its affiliates. Whereas the member states of the WRC have classified the Moors of Unami Buffalo Nation, Ante, Pennsylvania, as being incompetent. Wherefore, the Moors of Unami have not achieved a level of basic or fundamental understanding of what protocols are required for Moors to achieve competent statehood standing or recognition. Therefore, the colonial territory shall continue to be recognized as a non-self-governing territory until further notice. Moreover, everything that Unami proclaims to know about statehood is being imitated, impersonated, and adopted from the knowledge base of the member states of the Wazir Regional Council. Furthermore, Unami is attempting to fool other Moors into believing that they are acting in good faith to assist other Moors. But in fact, Unami Buffalo Nation, Ante, Pennsylvania, is acting in bad faith as rogue Moors that are only interested in creating consultation fees, cash app processes, and adversarial divisions against the member states of the WRC. The belligerent and insolent actions of Unami Buffalo Nation, Ante, Pennsylvania, are counterproductive and continue to compromise the strength of our interdependent Moroccan states and the bond of confidence and trust that holds us together. We, the Moors of Morocco, are only as strong as our weakest link, and unfortunately, the Moors of Unami Buffalo Nation, Ante, Pennsylvania, have continued to prove themselves as being the weakest link within our nationalism and decolonization movement. For this reason, Unami Buffalo Nation, Ante, Pennsylvania, and its officials cannot be recognized as trusted or competent government officials of a state without prejudice. In conclusion, the Wazir Regional Council derives its authority and regional oversight of the Empire of Morocco from the ratified, deposited, and promulgated convention in the Empire of Morocco, Wazir Regional Convention, in harmony with the Regional Supreme Court of the WRC Convention, see attached. Wherefore, the member states of the WRC stand on principles, moral character, and ethics, and extends its willingness to seek a solution to resolve any miscommunications, lack of understanding, or mistakes made by either of the parties. Nonetheless, the Wazir Regional Council will pursue every attempt to settle the matter of what appears to be a false start by the Moors in Pennsylvania. Nevertheless, the member states of the Wazir Regional Council hereby request for UNAMI Buffalo Nation, ante Pennsylvania, to cease any notion of being a competent or recognized provincial state government in the Empire of Morocco until the Wazir Regional Council can validate your so-called state status. Respectfully, Abdul Smith Bey, Chairman of the Wazir Regional Council, Head of State for Alodia Moorish Palladium, Ante, Georgia. Islam.